Good morning, fourth grade, and welcome to your math lesson for Wednesday. We are on lesson 1.7 on page 43 in your book. You should be using it to help you during these lessons. Our objective today, we are subtracting whole numbers. So yesterday we were adding multi-digit numbers. Today we are subtracting. Let's look at our unlock the problem. Mount Bear and Mount Bona are two mountains in Alaska. Mount Bear is 14,831 feet tall. Mount Bona is 16,421 feet tall. How much taller is Mount Bona than Mount Bear? Okay, so I underlined my key numbers and I circled my keywords. So how much taller is Mount Bona than Mount Bear? Okay, so that word combination tells me I need to subtract because we want to know the difference between two heights. So they do encourage you to estimate. We're not doing that today. I just want to focus on simply subtracting. So just like with adding, you want to stack your numbers and line them up correctly, okay? See how they did that? You need to line up by ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, okay? You want to make sure that you can do that. Sorry, my smart board's being weird. So if you write your numbers all out of line, just like with adding, you're going to get some funky answers. So please don't do that. Okay, so they show you step by step how to subtract. You start with your ones, then you work your way over to tens, then to hundreds, and so on and so forth. So pay attention to your regrouping. Okay, so see how they're doing that here? Don't forget to do that. So I'm going to finish this out for them. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I'm not going to write anything there. So that means Mount Bona is 1,590 feet taller than Mount Bear. Okay, and again, see how they're labeling their answer? We're not just writing 1,590. We're labeling it feet, so we know exactly what it is. All right, we're going to go on to the next page. Okay, so a little tip, if you don't know if you have the right answer, well, subtraction is the opposite of addition. So you can actually go backwards and add to make sure that you're getting the correct answer. Now that's something I do like to do sometimes. So you take the answer you got and you add it to the second addend. That's what they did over here. So let's check our answer to make sure that we got the right answer. Well, let's see. 0 plus 1 is 1. 9 plus 3 is 12. I'm going to drop my 2, carry my 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. Drop my 4, carry my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 4 is 6. Yeah, we got 16,421. So that means we subtracted correctly. Now, just like with addition, you can use a grid like this to help you line up your numbers, which I would definitely encourage. So I'm going to do that actually. 637,350 minus, and then, so looky here, we're going to line up our place values. 132. Okay? So grid paper can definitely help. So just like yesterday, I'm going to show you what you should not do when you line up your numbers. Now, you may think this is funny, but I do have kids do this and subtract like this. But look, it's definitely not lined up correctly, right? See, our commas aren't lined up, and the ones place should not be completely open. So you're going to get a wildly different answer if you line them up like that. Okay? Now let's do a couple of practice runs. I will tell you that subtraction tends to be more difficult for kids than addition, simply because of the borrowing step. So I'm going to do a couple of these. I'm going to do number 4. And I'm going to show you some errors that I do commonly see, especially when we get to the zeros, okay? All right. So when you are borrowing from a 0, you may or may not remember this, but what do you have to do? It's different, right? So I can't take 2 from 1, so automatically we do have to borrow, but we have a 0 next door. So what do? Well, I'll tell you. We go to the first digit that is not a 0. So you have 2 zeros in a row. So what do I need to do? I need to go all the way down to my 7 and borrow from the 7 and make it a 6. Okay, then what? Well, I'm going to take that 10 and pass it to this 0. And then I need to pass it down again to this 0. And then what's it going to be? Well, it would be a 10, right? But I'm not done. I have to give a 10 to the 1. So then I'm going to cross out my 1, and what does it become? It becomes an 11. Because when we borrow, we're borrowing 10. Okay, so then what happens to my 0? Well, it's going to become a 9. Now this is where a lot of 4th graders will get confused. Well, why is it becoming a 9? Well, that's because we borrowed a 10 all the way from the 7, and we passed it down until we got back to the digit that we needed to borrow for. So when you add a 10 to 0, it becomes 10. But because our 1 needed a 10, that's why our zeros became 9s. Because we had to borrow a 10. So now we can subtract. 11 minus 2 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3. 6 minus 4 is 2. Oh, we have run into another 0, so what do? All right, well, we got to go to the 4, borrow from it, make it a 3. And then my 0, no, it won't be a 9 this time because we don't have 2 zeros in a row. It's going to actually be a 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. So it should be 222,349. Okay. Some of you are probably thinking, what is going on? So zeros tend to be a problem for kids. That's normal. So I will walk through that step again. I'm going to actually jump down to the 7 here because there's a nice amount of zeros. All right, so starting out, I'm actually going to scroll up a little bit so you can see this a little better. Okay, so it starts off nice. 0 minus 0 is just 0. 8 minus 0 is 8. 9 minus 0 is 9. Okay, Then it starts to get kind of crazy. So we got 2 zeros in a row, right? So you got to go to the first number that's not a 0, which would be 3, all the way at the end. I'm going to take a 10 from 3 and make it 2. Okay, and then I need to pass my 10 down, right? So I'm going to pass to the 0, this 0 first. But this 0 still needs a 10, so it's going to pass it down again. Well, it looks like eyes. So then our first 0 will be a 10 this time because it's not passing down to the next number, so it's going to stay a 10. But then this 0 will become a 9. Okay, now I can subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 5 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we should get 141,480. Okay. I'm going to go to my next page. I'm going to skip the algebra part for the sake of time. Okay, keep going. This problem will actually be in your homework, so I'm not going to do that one. Okay. All right, so I know a lot of kids, at least when I've taught this before, had issues with subtracting, especially across zeros, and with borrowing. There's a lot of steps, and you have to make sure you're doing it correctly. And one little mistake can make a huge difference. So I will do another problem. I'll do this one, do one more with you. And if you need extra help on homework, I will be around to help. So just very quickly. All right, so starting out, let's see. I can't take 7 from 5, right? The top number's smaller, so that tells me I need to borrow from the next door neighbor, which is 9. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cross out my 9 and make it into an 8. I'm giving 10 to 5, and I'm making it 15. So 15 minus 7 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. Okay, and once again, I can't take 6 from 4, so I'm going to have to borrow again. I'm going to take 10 from 3 and make it a 2. And then that 4 is going to become a 14. This is getting tiny, sorry. 14 minus 6 is 8. All right, I can't take 8 from 2, so I'm going to have to borrow again. I'm going to take 10 from 5 and make it into a 4. Now the 2 is a 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. 4 minus 4, I can do that. So that's 0. And then 2. So we should get 204,878. So one little tip I will give you guys, don't rush through these problems on your homework. Take your time. Use a piece of paper. Line up your numbers. And I see the most mistakes when kids rush through these. So just make sure you take your time and you check your answers and make sure that your answers are making sense. Okay, that is all for today. Make sure you submit your homework.